Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're talking about when you're eating that turkey. That's right, everybody. It's that time of the year again. It is that time for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you so much to everybody who's ever listened to this podcast for 2 seconds. Mainly 2 seconds because the first second, if you didn't log away, you know what I mean? You stuck around for an extra second. That's what matters. That's what's cool. That's what I like. And I just want to say a huge thank you to anybody who's follows this podcast, or a thank you to anybody who's listened to an episode, or maybe, didn't really know what the show was about or really even care, but they were just like, you know what? It just pops up. I'm looking for a new podcast, just something to kind of pass the time, something to kind of giggle at, or something to just take my mind away from something that I'm going through or that I'm doing, mindlessly working, you know what I mean? Thank you so much. And it means a lot that you would take the time out of your day to listen to this, because I'm not really saying anything all that great, you know what I mean? And I think a couple of people will agree with me on that. But anyways, today we're talking about Thanksgiving. When you're eating that turkey, there are any number of ways to cook your turkey. There are any number of ways to prepare and to style and to really mix and match and figure out okay, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. If you're vegan or vegetarian, this one ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? This one is kind of for those turkey eaters, everybody who goes the traditional and classical route. And for people who are going the, untraditional way, may I suggest, if you still want to be in that Thanksgiving mood, may I suggest turkey burgers. Turkey burgers with maybe a cranberry sauce, on the bread, and then you know what I mean? Just something kind of Thanksgiving in there, Thanksgiving in a sandwich, really, but it's like a turkey burger. May I suggest that? That might be better. But anyways, there are 3 ways to cook a turkey that I would kind of inspired by, or that I think are kind of cool. So anyways, the first one I want to talk about is, let me see. It's called no, that ain't it. It's a buttermilk brined turkey. Now, buttermilk, as a lot of you know, as I have come to, figure out and learn on my own time, that buttermilk is an amazing thing. It has created so many delicious recipes in my life, from desserts to foods to all kinds of things, right? And when I think about buttermilk, I think of, obviously you go to pancakes or waffles, but I'm talking about maybe a nice red velvet cake, you know what I mean, that I've baked before, or in this instance, or buttermilk seasoned chicken, or chicken tenders or whatever, right? Something like that, something that works for it. But this is a turkey, buttermilk brined turkey. Now, what I want to talk about is essentially the brine tender makes the meat tender. It really helps to absorb, taking the moisture, and what it does is, so that way when you cook it, when you put it in the oven, and when you cook that turkey, it comes out super moist and super flavorful, and it just does a great job at that. So for this recipe, you need a lot of buttermilk for this to completely cover the turkey. Let me see, if a gallon is 4 quarts, then the recipe says 3 quarts. So you're almost at a gallon of buttermilk, which is nuts, but you're going to need a lot of that. So, maybe get a gallon of it, and then, save an extra quart for desserts, or maybe some other things that you're kind of thinking about. You know what I mean? Salt is definitely a plus. Yeah, but essentially you take all of a variety of seasonings, right, that you want to maybe put on the turkey, and you heat them up on a skillet and then toast them, whatever. And then you combine it with the salt and the buttermilk in a big pot or whatnot. And then you Well, you take the turkey and you put it in that. You take the turkey and you put it in there. Now, I have to warn you, okay? It's already Thanksgiving when this thing comes out. So if you miss it, you miss your chance. But there, essentially, you put this in there for like a day or two, and you let it do that, and then you cook it, and then all's well that ends well. So that's one way you can cook your turkey, okay? Another way is robe. Blah, blah. Why am I stuttering with my words? Roasted herb turkey. I mean, this one's kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's basic, but it's just a regular. Think about making a turkey and then just covering it with like a bunch of like butter and a different variety of seasonings. So you have like what's it called? You get butter, you get salt, pepper, thyme, sage. This one says dried fennel seeds, and you have to crush them. I mean, you do whatever you want, you know what I mean? You use whatever you want. But, like, think about the ways that you maybe, like, cover a turkey or, like, you maybe spread the butter on top and then you coat it and whatnot, right? Like, think of that on a regular scale, and then you put that on top. You let it sit there for a little while, and then you put it in the fridge to cool down. And then after that, the next day you can cook it with, and so on and so forth, with, like, a variety of vegetables like onions, carrots, celery, all that good stuff. And that's another way you can cook your turkey. That's more of like a traditional way, you know what I mean? Like a simple way to do it. And then another way is to deep fry your turkey. Now this one is extremely, I don't want to say dangerous, but you know, it could hit or miss, you know what I mean? One step in the wrong direction, it could be in there for too long, you could overcook it, you could completely destroy your turkey, and that's not anything anybody wants. So what you want to do is you really want to make sure that when you're deep frying the turkey, number one rule is temperature. You really want to make sure that it's cooked well, but it's not overcooked. And for this one, it says canola oil. I mean, if you want to be risky with it, if you really want to risk it, I would say peanut oil. But, you know, who knows what kind of differences that make, you know, what big of a difference that makes. So, and again, I'm no expert. So, you know, I'm just throwing my thing out, you know, throwing this out there. You know what I mean? But it's already Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. And, you know, I'm just naming other ways you make your turkey for maybe next year or whatnot. And this one is a little bit, I don't know. I don't want to say like terrible, but I just feel like deep frying your turkey takes a certain level of finesse that I don't have, and deep frying skills that I also don't have, but it doesn't seem all that complicated. You just take the turkey, put it in the oil, you know, cover it with some stuff, get it nice and dry, throw it up into the deep fryer or like in a big pot, you know, get it hot, and then throw it in there, take it out, boom, you know, there's your turkey. There you go, you did it. And then besides the turkey, okay, I know this is like about when you're eating the turkey. I mean, when you eat that first thing of turkey, you could tell that somebody put the care, the love into that meal based off that first bite of the turkey. You ever remember the first time you ate turkey? I remember the first time I ate turkey, and I know it was during Thanksgiving. And I know it because I had like this big like, I wouldn't say like I was particularly like, oh snap, like I gotta eat this. Like I was just kind of like, oh, it's just, you know, it's a bird, it's like chicken, right? And then I ate it and I was just like, wow, that's really good. It was really I don't want to say, I'm trying to think of the right word. I mean, it was turkey, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's bird, you know, but it was really delicious. It was really juicy. It had the great, very meaty. It just fit well with the meal, you know what I mean? In a way that maybe chicken would, You know, it's not that big of a difference, like not that big of a leap between turkey and chicken, but there is a difference there. And I just remember having it, and I thought to myself, like, this is like the perfect traditional Thanksgiving meal, and I'm so thankful I'm eating it. You know what I mean? So that's been my experience. But other than that, let's talk about the other things that you eat at the table, okay? Ham. All right? If you like me get a ham along with your turkey, then there are any number of ways you can do that too. And I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but ham is definitely a must. And when you're eating that ham, some people, there's a debate that ham is actually better than the turkey. You don't actually, people will weigh in between. They'll be like, the turkey's the best. Well, actually, the ham is a lot better. They like the ham better than they actually like the turkey, so on and so forth. And you're just kind of like, oh, snap. Like, what do I, it's like a long ongoing feud. But everybody knows traditionally it's the turkey that's the front runner, and then the ham kind of is like the co-star. You know what I mean? They're just as important, but they're not like the main attraction, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But equally as delicious. And then you got your sides. Now the main side that everybody's like, okay, if you do this well, then you know what I mean? Like, you could eat that forever. So the other one is mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes is a relatively easy dish. I mean, it's nothing crazy, nothing terrible. But some people, you know what I mean? You can make buttermilk mashed potatoes, right? Another great. So if you're doing the buttermilk brine turkey, if you've done that for this Thanksgiving, you're a genius, because guess what? You know what you can do with the leftover the leftover buttermilk that you didn't use for the brine for the turkey? You can use it to make your mashed potatoes. Isn't that brilliant? That's just really smart. And then with whatever buttermilk that you didn't use for the mashed potatoes, you can use it to make desserts, you can use it to make breakfast, you can use it to do whatever it is that you want to do, all right? It's just simple math, it makes sense. But more onto the sides. You got to have some vegetables. Vegetables are definitely a necessity. So Brussels sprouts. Okay, so Brussels sprouts with bacon and shallots. That's a recipe. That's an idea. So that way it's like healthy but not healthy. You know what I mean? You sprinkle some bacon on them, and then you kind of like cook it down a little bit. You know what I mean? You season it well. Like, it just fits. It's greens, but it's also a little bit unhealthy. So that way it like gets eaten. A lot more of it. Whereas if you just cook Brussels sprouts, everybody's gonna be like, I have to eat it, but it's not like necessarily the most delicious thing, you know what I mean? It's fresh and it's good, it's good for you, but it's not like as enticing as maybe mashed potatoes or macaroni and cheese, you know what I mean? But there's also there's ways to get the veggies in there, you know what I mean? There's a broccoli and rice casserole. It's like cheesy, you know what I mean? They put some cheese on there. Or you could just make broccoli and then put some like cheese on top of it. You know what I mean? From maybe the mac and cheese, or just broccoli. Broccoli by itself is pretty amazing. It's definitely top 5 vegetable. Green beans, collard greens. Those are really good. There's a green bean casserole. So that way you can like throw a bunch of stuff in there and you can cook it and make it into like a really nice dish. But it's vegetables. So people will be like eating their greens, enjoying it. And maybe as like a nice little snack on the side, you can get some like cut up cucumbers and some hummus and maybe some carrots. And also you can make honey glazed spiced carrots. That's a great idea. That's a definite maybe. You can definitely put that on the menu. I feel like carrots kind of, not that they get a bad rap, you know what I mean? They're good to eat. I just think that when it comes to Thanksgiving, we don't necessarily always think about carrots. You know what I mean? But you can definitely spice them up. You can definitely add some seasoning to them and make them taste delicious and nutritious at the same time. So definitely think about that for your Thanksgiving meal. And if you already have that, like as a out there, if you already do honey glazed spiced carrots, then I mean you're already winning at this dinner. You're already doing the best. Now, macaroni and cheese. Listen, this is the time of the year where you put effort into the macaroni and cheese. Listen, the rest of the year you can eat Kraft mac and cheese. You can eat it out of that cup. You know, it's actually pretty good out of that cup, right? You could do it out of the box with the the packaging of the cheese, right? Like the cheese the cheese powder. You can do that, okay? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, and there's nothing with eating that. But for Thanksgiving, this is the time of year to show off your chef skills. Okay? You cannot. I mean, you can, but you can't. You can, but you shouldn't. You can definitely serve Kraft macaroni and cheese, okay? That's not a, oh no, why did you do that? That's disgusting. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, okay? But what I'm trying to say here is that you should put in the effort for that macaroni and cheese. Make that macaroni and cheese as fire as it can possibly be. If you wait, if you just decide to be a little bit lazy, maybe if you wait till the last second and you're like, I want macaroni and cheese, but like, I don't necessarily have all the know-how or the weights to do it, but like, I want macaroni and cheese, and you wait till the last second and you get the Kraft macaroni and cheese. All right, fine. You know what I mean? That's fine for then. But you know what I'm talking about when you throw that, you boil that pasta, you shred the cheese, you get the crumb on top of it, right? And you just put it in the oven and you let it melt down, and then you top it off with some more cheese, and it's all melty, gooey deliciousness, and it's like got the perfect crust on top, and so that way it just like completely melts and it's just delicious. That's what we need. That's the mac and cheese of everybody's dreams. Okay? And I honestly want to know who makes the best macaroni and cheese on Thanksgiving. Like, there should be like rankings of this. Like, there definitely needs to be like a way we figure it out. That'd be a good way to gauge like who really served on Thanksgiving. And then the bread. You can't go. You need bread on Thanksgiving. I mean, it's a natural thing. You can get Hawaiian rolls. You can buy those biscuits or croissants. You can just buy like regular dinner rolls. You can make your own bread. That's another thing. Making your own bread for this holiday is without a doubt, like, this is every chef's dream. You know what I mean? Normally, you wouldn't even bother making your own bread, let alone cooking it and like serving it to a bunch of people when you've never tried it before. But if you're a real chef, if you've really been hustling in the kitchen, this is your opportunity to show up and show out and do what you have to do. Okay? So, dinner rolls, Hawaiian rolls, some sort of bread. Serve it. Okay? I think it'll go. I mean, it definitely goes with the meal. It definitely is a big part of it, and it's a great addition to everything. You know what I mean? You ever have mashed potato? You ever make a sandwich out of your little dinner roll? I have. Put a little bit of turkey and some ham and mashed potatoes and like maybe some corn and like other things that get stuck to the mashed potato. You close it and then you eat it all, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is delicious. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you need the bread for. But outside of that, next up are the desserts. So you've just had your Thanksgiving dinner, right? But you have a little bit of a sweet tooth at the end of it, right? You have a little bit of a sweet tooth. So you need a dessert. You need something sweet. You need something good to eat. Now, this is a little bit controversial, but I enjoy a pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is absolutely delicious. Now, there's some people don't like pumpkin pie, and that's fine. You know what I mean? It's, it's up to interpretation, I guess. Not everybody's going to like what you like, what I like. But pumpkin pie is absolutely delicious to me. And I just want to say, this is the time of the year where it's like perfectly acceptable to eat it. You know what I mean? Not, but I guess if you don't like pumpkin pie, it's not acceptable to eat it any time of the year. But whatever. For people who don't like pumpkin pie, there are plenty of other delicious alternatives, like sweet potato pie. A lot of people enjoy that over pumpkin pie. Pecan pie, another delicious treat. Apple pie for real Americans. You know what I mean? If you're really about America, you get that apple pie and it'll just turn the whole thing upside down. And then if you really want to sugar it up, I mean, you just really want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, you know, you can make like a chocolate pudding pie. You know, just do something completely just like, if you really like chocolate like that, you know what I mean? And then there are obviously other desserts. You could make cookies, you could make cake, you could do ice cream. Oh, you could make apple pie with the ice cream on top. You could just do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Simple stuff, you know? Nothing too crazy. Now, that's the, you know, and that's Thanksgiving for you. That's the meal, you know what I mean? And you get like maybe a couple plates, you know, to fit everything onto, or like you have like several other stuff to put on there, and like maybe you want seconds, or, you know, depends on when you eat, right? So like, let's say you have Thanksgiving earlier in the day, so that way like later on in the day you can have like seconds, or you could just like have dessert later on, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about like one sit-down meal, you know, but you can obviously have Thanksgiving whenever. But none of this would be at all possible if not for the things that we're thankful for. So that's what this time is really for. That's what this big dinner is all about, is to be thankful for the meal that we're eating, to be thankful for family, be thankful for your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your dog, you know, your cat, your fish, your pet lizard, your pet bird, your, you know, all anybody that you include in your inner circle of family. You know what I mean? Now is the time to be thankful for them. And it's also a time to be thankful for your friends. Be thankful for people that you hang out with, people who you might work with, people who you know, just include in your inner circle. This is the time to say, I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for you. Thank you for being part of my year. Thank you for being a part of my week, month, whenever. You know what I mean? Just a huge thank you to those people. And yeah, that's what this holiday is all about. That's what it matters so much to people. And it's why it's definitely I don't want to say like a huge occasion. You know, some people don't really like Thanksgiving, but I do. And I want to say, if you have so much, you should be thankful for it. And if you're not thankful for anything, you should be thankful for yourself, because you made it. So, thank you for listening. Have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.